There've been a lot of anti-mask, anti-vaccine rallies across the country. And we also had a lot of people, unvaccinated people that have been affected by it, that have gotten sick. This particular story blends both of those together. So there was a Texas anti-masker that planned a freedom rally that would fight back against some of the COVID-19 restrictions and rules and laws and mandates that have been put in place to try and protect the general public. After that has been planned and carried out, it has been discovered that he also contracted COVID and he's very ill in the hospital, which is a very sad story. So let's go straight to this, some of these lines from Yahoo News. Caleb Wallace is the man that did this. He's a 30-year-old father of 3. He's been unconscious, ventilated, and heavily sedated in the ICU at Shannon Medical Center in San Angelo since August 8th. His wife set on a GoFundMe page for household and medical bills that he was intubated multiple times, had high fevers, infection, and bleeding in his chest, which sounds horrible. On that, she said, "He's not doing good. It's not looking in our favor. His lungs are stiff due to the fibrosis. They called and said they've run out of options for him and asked if I would consent to do not resuscitate. And it would be up to us when to stop treatments. My heart just can't. I can't imagine my life without him." Now, before he got it, as I mentioned, he organized that rally, and also he'd written some letters to the school. Some of the general things a lot of these folks do, because they're looking. I mean, they're pushing their particular point of view and what they think is really happening. So in July, Caleb reportedly helped organize the Freedom Rally, an event that billed itself as a protest against the government, quote, "the government being in control of our lives." He also founded the San Angelo Freedom Defenders. They also hosted a rally last year to, quote, "end COVID tyranny."
Oops.
Man. And as I mentioned that letter, he wrote a letter in April to the San Angelo Independent School District which was published by a local news outlet, demanding that the school district, quote, "rescind all COVID-related policies immediately." He falsely claimed that wearing masks had harmful effects on children and that there was, quote, "little evidence that masks worked for anyone." Oops. So now, as I mentioned, he's in the ICU, he's been intubated, and his wife has to figure out with her 3 kids, and I think they also mentioned that she's pregnant, has to make the decision of whether or not to go forward with the do not resuscitate on her 30-year-old husband.
So lots of thoughts here. First off, we hope Caleb gets better. He has not passed away. So obviously he's not in good shape. When they ask you for a do not resuscitate order, that's as bad as it gets, right? You need a miracle to pull through here, but we hope he gets one. Why do we keep telling you to wear a mask and take the vaccine? Because we don't want Caleb to die. Not because we do, we don't want him to die. That's why we were trying to help you, right? So now, luckily Jessica's wife, who my heart really goes out for, than those kids, she didn't listen to him, she wore a mask, and that probably saved her life. So thank God for that, otherwise those kids might be orphans. And so now, on the other hand, Caleb helped to push these conspiracy theories, this nonsense. He didn't just endanger himself, he endangered everyone else. They all went to that dumbass rally and exposed each other to coronavirus. It exposed everyone else to coronavirus, including their families. And he was wrong. He just, and by the way, when he got COVID, he didn't seek medical treatment. I say on the show sometimes like, hey, if you don't believe in doctors, don't go when you get sick. But
let me go to that.
I'm being facetious because, like, of course I want you to go save your life. Yeah. Of course doctors are right? Yeah. And no, he didn't go to see a doctor, and instead, you know what he did? This was a attempt.
Let me go to that real fast, because it was very specific and it was very full the way he went towards it. So when he first felt the symptoms, which was on July 26th, man, it's like a month ago. His wife told the Standard-Times that he refused to get tested or seek medical care. He instead began treating himself with a cocktail of vitamin C, zinc, aspirin, and ivermectin, which we've been hearing about a lot lately. Which is an anti-parasitic drug that has been falsely promoted as an effective treatment for COVID-19 by conservative media. So he was taken to the hospital by the way, just 4 days later after he tried that cocktail of drugs.
They said conservative.
Not drugs, but
okay.
Some of it was drugs.
So shockingly, the horse dewormer didn't work, even though Tucker Carlson and Jimmy Dore told you to take it and told you that Fauci was a monster for not suggesting it. Anyways, guys, why are you taking loads of crap that doctors tell you not to take instead of taking the thing that the doctor tells you to take? Like, I keep saying this because I can't believe people cannot understand this clearly. It's not just America. All the doctors in the world tell you to take the vaccine. Are Indian doctors randomly lying? Are Brazilian doctors lying? Are Indonesian doctors lying? Did they get together? Did somebody write a memo? How do they control all the doctors? Are they paying all of the doctors in the world, the Russian doctors, the Estonian doctors? How did they get to them all and say, hey, tell everybody to take the vaccine and wear masks, even though it doesn't work, even though they should be taking horse dewormer? How did they do that worldwide conspiracy of doctors? Of course they're not lying. So we keep getting back to the thing of like, does it help or does it not help for us to say, snap out of it, you're being ridiculous, it's crazy to think that all the doctors in the world are lying. But you can't talk sense to them. So this guy's, in a really bad place because he didn't believe in facts.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, on the conspiracy front, if it was some sort of conspiracy, why would all the rich people want to get vaccinated first? There was a whole thing when the vaccine came out where the rich people were all trying to get vaccinated first, especially people who work at these companies. So that's a point aside. But the situation that he's in particular, where the doctors are asking whether or not they can put a DNR on him, that's the do not resuscitate. That and so I'm not a doctor, I'm not in the room with him there. I have no idea necessarily what the individual level decision factors they're using are. But when you have ICUs full, this is part of a pandemic response. When you have ICUs full, you have to start triaging care. And when you are triaging care, you have to look at your patients and you have to say, is it harder to save this patient? Is it worth it to save this patient? Can we focus on somebody else? We've got a 30-year-old who's sick, who is taking this medicine that is not for COVID, but maybe they have a 15-year-old there. Maybe they have a 12-year-old there. Maybe somebody just got in a car accident and needs to get rushed into the room that he is in right now, right? These are very, very important factors that doctors are forced to take into consideration. And that's why you see doctors storming out like they are in Florida, protesting these anti-maskers, because it's an unbelievably difficult, sort of horrific situation where you will have decision-making power over people's lives, right? Very few people have ever been in those positions in their lives, and it's very difficult, it's traumatic, it's stressful. And when you're running around being an anti-masker and you're leading to ICUs overflowing, you're putting doctors in a position where they have to start triaging care and start to make calculations. And so if the ICU beds weren't full, there's a decent chance that the doctors might not have asked for, hey, maybe we should put a DNR on him. That decision might have been influenced by triaging, and it's a situation that he kind of put himself into with that propaganda that he's spreading around.
Well, he asked for freedom. He's got freedom. I don't know that he's enjoying it. You also have the freedom to ignore the law and not wear a seatbelt or a helmet when you're driving a motorcycle. And the pavement's not gonna care that you had freedom when your head hits it. Okay, so last thing on this. For all of your friends and family that are listening to insane people online, just ask them, why are you listening to a rando blog on Facebook as opposed to all the doctors in the world? Why do you think that rando on Facebook knows better than almost every doctor on the planet? He's saying, I took vitamin C and zinc and aspirin. Dude, if aspirin could cure it, you think the doctors wouldn't have told you, take aspirin. Look, we saved 4 million lives. Of course aspirin doesn't cure it. Vitamin C, let's go have an orange. Well, that was easy to solve. Over 620,000 Americans, over 4 million dead all across the world. No, an orange isn't going to do it, but good news, the vaccine does. Almost all the people dying are unvaccinated. All you gotta do is get the vaccine. And you save your life and you're magnetic. Stop listening to idiots that are doing propaganda and conspiracy online. Listen to actual doctors and scientists. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, Jayar. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.